I came home early from my business trip to find my boyfriend Ethan and a woman in my apartment. I recognized her, my best friend Lily. This happened during my 3rd month of pregnancy, right when we'd agreed to get married. As I stared at them, my mind raced. I knew I was plain and uninteresting, while Lily had always been stunning, a top law graduate from an Ivy League school. Any man would obviously choose between us without hesitation. But Lily had been my closest friend since elementary school, and Ethan had always seemed so refined. I'd never imagined they'd end up like this together. I raised my hand, uncertain if interrupting was appropriate. Years of upbringing about not inconveniencing others kept me frozen, even as my heart pounded. Finally, I knocked on the door frame. "Ethan, this counts as cheating, right?" My quiet voice cut through the moans. Ethan jerked around, pupils dilating like he'd seen a ghost. I coughed awkwardly, turning to Lily. "How many years have we known each other? Was I ever unkind to you?" What I really wanted to ask was how decades of friendship could lead to stealing my man, but my people-pleasing habit softened the words. Lily stayed silent, but her eyes declared our friendship dead, ready to discard her lifelong sidekick without remorse. Biting my lip, I pulled out my phone. Ethan lunged naked from the bed, grabbing my wrist. "What are you doing? You're hurting me." He released me instantly, stammering, "Don't blame Lily. I initiated everything." "Oh." I nodded, my lifelong tendency to retreat into emotional numbness taking over. My mother always said I had the personality of driftwood. Ethan awkwardly pulled on pants. "Since you've seen, I'm in love with Lily." Behind him, Lily gazed adoringly from the sheets, eyes shining. I pointed at my stomach. "What about this?" He glanced reluctantly at Lily. "With the new household registration laws, you can register it yourself if you insist on keeping it. We'll split support payments." Lily smirked. "Honestly, even if you have his child, someone like you could never hold on to such an exceptional man." I sighed. "You make me sound like some clingy pest." Continuing to tap my phone, I murmured, "Relax. I'm just calling a ride." After summoning the car, I looked Ethan in the eyes. "If your heart's elsewhere, we're done here." Both looked stunned. Lily, opening and closing her mouth like a debater, denied her podium. She finally spat. "At least you know your place. Forced relationships never work. You should probably abort." Nodding, I packed swiftly. From confrontation to suitcase zipping took under 10 minutes. No tears, no drama, just my usual wooden calm. At the door, Ethan looked bewildered. "You're just leaving?" "Yes." "What about the baby?" "I'll schedule an abortion." As I turned to go, I reminded Lily, "Don't forget to break up with your boyfriend too. No double dipping." Outside, I bought an ice pop. I love eating frozen treats in winter. That intense cold fading to numbness reminds me of climax. Crunching the ice, I acknowledged the inevitable. I could never have kept Ethan, especially after introducing him to Lily. Like Lily, Ethan was every parent's dream child: handsome, accomplished, career-driven. My mother always wished for a daughter like Lily, a son like Ethan, and now they belonged to each other. They were two of the 3 insurmountable obstacles looming over my growth, their mere presence crushing me breathless under their shadows. Yes, we'd known each other since childhood. Lily Johnson was my elementary school classmate, while Ethan Brown became my high school peer. Their names were legendary at parent-teacher conferences. Those golden children everyone adored. It wasn't until I dated Ethan that these two titans collided through my mediation, sparking catastrophic fireworks. Well, dating might be generous. 3 shots of cheap liquor over dinner, and suddenly every woman becomes Marilyn Monroe to a drunk man. That's how I claimed him. Then came the pregnancy. My mother practically glowed when she found out. If her daughter couldn't shine, A promising son-in-law would suffice for bragging rights. She ambushed Ethan at his government office. A civil servant on the fast track couldn't afford paternity scandals, while Mom schemed to trap her golden ticket. I flaunted Ethan's virtues to Lily until curiosity compelled her to meet him. My fatal mistakes? Arranging their dinners. Letting Ethan drive Lily home repeatedly, especially during her rocky patch with the boyfriend. Worst of all, casually mentioning how countless wealthy heirs pursued Lily without success. I'll never forget the predatory gleam in Ethan's eyes. Men love the thrill of the chase. Now they're together, while I slink home dragging my suitcase, tossing my popsicle stick outside our apartment. I discard the prenatal vitamins too. Mom's jaw drops seeing me alone. Where's Ethan? Her slap rings sharply when I explain. You introduced them? She shrieks, pacing like a caged tiger. We're confronting him. This is your last chance for a decent marriage. I shrink from her fury. Your father already knows about Ethan. She hisses, invoking her eternal rival dad's decades-long mistress and their brilliant love child. That third unattainable ideal I could never match. The golden boy dad actually parents. Unlike his forgotten daughter, Mom's manhunt fails spectacularly. Secretly, I tip off the lovers about her movements. Between teaching shifts, she'd never abandon professional pride. Her surveillance falters. Gradually, their initial shock at my warning softens into reluctant gratitude. Ethan even offers apology drinks, the first genuine warmth he's ever shown me. The bitter irony? This might be the most seen I've ever felt. But I didn't go. Work kept me busy. And after hours, I stayed busy too. No one knew I loved whiskey, quietly. Alone. Letting the burn slide down my throat. My stomach. My intestines before flushing it all away. That's how I found scraps of peace. During those 3 months with Ethan, I'd played the prim lady, suppressing my cravings. Tonight, I planned to drink enough to make up for every dry day. Leaving the office, I ran into Evan. Evan was gorgeous, always smiling like sunlight poured from his lips. He waved at me from his car. Need a ride home? He winked, blushing. I shook my head and hurried toward a taxi, tripping over my own feet. His low chuckle followed me, heating my neck. My first love was laughing. I loved Evan more than Ethan. But Evan was the moon, untouchable, while I was gutter mud. Fantasizing about Ethan was permissible, fantasizing about Evan? Unforgivable. Slumping into the taxi, I told the driver to take me to the most notorious bar in town. I lost count of drinks. Evan's smile swam in my vision. Maybe heaven pitied me. My phone buzzed with his text, "Don't want to go home." "Where are you?" Trembling, I slurred the address. Last memory, Evan materializing across the table. Grinning all night. "You're beautiful," he said. Reverent. Ecstatic. I wished to drown in this surreal dream forever, even if the world burned for it. Morning sun hit my face. Evan lay beside me, smiling. Last night was perfect. He kissed my forehead. I shut stinging eyes. Maybe God finally threw this unlucky guy a bone. Sent an angel. The angel and I became lovers 1 week after Ethan cheated. I didn't tell Mom. She'd been acting paranoid since her ex's mistress's son got promoted. Would she slap me? Force Evan to marry me as revenge? I guarded my sliver of happiness. Evan hated my daily drinking. I cut back to weekly. He loathed my ice addiction in winter. I quit. He spoiled me like a princess. For once, life's chaos stilled in his arms, like a restless ghost finally finding peace. My night. Now I never drank alone. Like tonight, when a pretty boy kept eyeing me, edging closer. Evan stepped between us, glowering until the guy vanished. I smiled, feeling something icy inside thaw. Texting Lily, "I'm happy now. Wish you happiness too." She replied hours later, "Thanks." Then, still friends? I didn't answer. Typing, hope you and Ethan have kids soon. Sincerely. Evan leaned in to look at my phone. Visibly jealous. Who are you chatting with? You're smiling so brightly. I showed him the chat interface. Just bragging about my relationship to my best friend. Evan chuckled. I became entranced by the constellations shimmering in his eyes. Summoning the greatest courage of my life. I blurted out. Evan. Will you marry me? The blaring music drowned out his response. That night, Evan walked me home. He kissed me goodbye at my doorstep before leaving. As I turned to enter my building, a shadowy figure lunged from the darkness, grabbing my shoulders. The handsome man from the bar sneered. Having fun, aren't we? I gestured toward the unlit corner. We retreated into the shadows where his angry breath warmed my face. Why are you avoiding me? Done with our arrangement? Don't act like we're involved. I laughed. I'm busy being in love. He growled. Pay up. Not tonight. Tomorrow at 10. The desperate man glared before disappearing into the night. I hummed a tune climbing the stairs. Unfazed. The next evening, I wanted to take Evan for Thai food. But he went to visit his parents instead. Since we weren't public yet, I had no claim to join. This marked our first evening apart after work hours. Without Evan, time stretched endlessly like before yet different. For having known sunlight makes darkness unbearable. I stayed overtime to avoid my mother's temper. Overhearing coworkers plan a barbecue near Evan's apartment. My blood froze. Memories of Ethan and Lily's entanglement resurfaced. No. I whispered. This can't be happening. My entire future hinged on this. After coworkers left, I rushed to Evan's neighborhood. Behind the famous Jinjo-style barbecue joint. I trembled watching Evan laugh with male colleagues. I held my breath, waiting for some woman to appear. 30 minutes passed without female company. Just as I relaxed, Evan's voice slithered through the night air. Pay up. Boys. The chick actually proposed. My feet rooted to the pavement. Made her willing to marry me in half the time. Evan boasted to coworkers who'd left the office earlier. Where's your proof? Someone challenged. Evan White smirked triumphantly, not convinced. Let's have her beg again tomorrow. I'll record it for you. No need. We believe you. Just look how she stares at you. Amidst the laughter, colleagues pulled out phones to transfer money to Evan. He basked in the attention, sunshine radiating from his face. I stood frozen, my mind a tangled mess. A shrill voice screamed inside my skull, worthless. Ugly. Stupid. Coward. Can't even get into decent college. Why not die? My mother's voice wailed like air raid sirens. Clutching my ears changed nothing. The condemnation came from within. My world came crashing down. Somehow, I found myself outside Matt Smith's apartment. An hour early. Didn't care. The door flew open before my third knock, revealing Matt's startled face. You? Confusion twisted his perfect features, the kind of face I'd kill to possess. My surprise faded. A slow smile crept across my lips. Lily, what brings you to Matt's place? Her eyes darted between me and the apartment. Instincts screaming danger. I shoved her inside. No more masks. No more lies. Why visit your ex so late? Lily? Does Ethan know? I asked casually, catching our reflection in the hallway mirror. Ordinary becomes grotesque beside beauty. I drank in the contrast, my dumpy frame next to her porcelain perfection. The self-loathing burned sweetly. Matt grinned, pupils dilated. My dear sister knows all my dirty secrets. Right? Wrong. I examined my hands, the only decent part of me. You're one of my 3 burdens. Lily trembled. What's happening? Did I steal your idiot? Matt snorted. Same father. Different mothers. She funds my habit. I bait the trap. Simple. The puzzle pieces clicked for Lily. But why? I mirrored Evan's signature eyebrow raise poorly. Why are you here? Her throat worked soundlessly. He's blackmailing you with nudes. Isn't he? I patted her cheek. Good girls shouldn't sleep with addicts. Lily. Even pretty ones. I never knew until today when I stumbled upon it. Lily recoiled in terror, staring at me like I was a ghost. Why hide? I'm your best friend. I chirped, advancing with a smile. Matt closed in beside me, both of us resembling wolves circling trembling Little Red Riding Hood. Tears streamed down Lily's porcelain face, pitiful. Really? I hated that flawless complexion. I wanted to peel it off and wear it myself. We edged closer. Matt, high out of his mind, began groping. Lily shrieked, her eyes darting to the fruit knife on the coffee table. She grabbed it, brandishing the blade wildly. Stay back. Don't come near me. I laughed outright, moving within arm's reach. Remember elementary school? I whispered. Every time you scored perfect marks, I'd tell you the same thing. Her tear-choked voice trembled. You said you wanted to die? Good girl. I patted her damp cheek approvingly. Each A+ of yours earned me beatings. Mom never understood I couldn't compete with perfection. Circling behind her, I gripped her shaking shoulders. But my death wishes? Those were real. So please. I breathed in her ear. Don't threaten me with mercy. Matt lurched forward, belt already unbuckled. Hold her tighter. He slurred, oblivious that we shared blood. I arched an eyebrow, guiding Lily's knife hand. Let me help you grip this properly. Before she could react, I shoved her forward. Our combined force drove the blade deep into Matt's abdomen with a sickening squelch. He staggered, clutching Lily's wrist as crimson bloomed across his shirt. When he collapsed twitching, I felt decades of tension melt from my scalp. Even mountains crumble before relentless effort. Lily's screams crescendoed, a beautiful symphony. Kneeling beside Matt's spasming form, I murmured, I used to spy on you at school. You know? Checking if you truly deserved the golden child title. His gurgling breaths formed bloody bubbles as he feebly tapped my phone. Want me to call help? I dangled the device. His fading eyes pleaded. Examining the spleen wound, the same spot I'd mentally targeted for years, I drawled. Of course. Little brother. Just a moment. Dialing at glacial speed. I chatted amiably. Mom used heating irons on me whenever you won awards. Remember? His pupils dilated. Lily's shrieks continued. Leaning close, I whispered my finale, finding that pretty addict to seduce you into narcotics. Took 3 years and 2 rape attempts in shitty bars. Worth every scar. His death rattle coincided with the 911 operator's greeting. At the police station, the Brown family and Smith clan collided like Shakespearean tragedy. Ethan's mistress, that third wheel, lunged at me with nails bared, only to be tackled by my mother. You killed him. She howled. Divine justice. Mom spat back, eyes blazing. My biological father slap-rocked her sideways before cops restrained him. As chaos erupted, I smiled at the man who donated half my DNA. The operatic screaming made me nostalgic for Broadway. I sat in the interrogation room, staring at my hands. Clean. Not a drop of blood on them. Still the hands Evan had once loved. The police found no evidence linking me to Matt's death. Just a foolish sister delivering drug money to her brother. Lily remained detained at the police station. When I returned home, my mother had actually prepared a feast. Overjoyed. That thorn in our side finally removed. I shared her happiness. Only one mountain left now. I posted an animation screenshot of the persistent porter on social media. Ethan immediately voice messaged me, I know it was you. Lily's innocent. I perfected my eyebrow arch years ago. Letting the message linger. He persisted, I'll find proof. I blocked him and resumed my routine, work. Home-cooked meals. Mother glowed. Especially after hearing the third wife had gone mad. Father scrambled to sire new heirs while still virile. May his spawn be drug-addicted brats. Mother cursed. Forgetting how she'd once envied Matt's brilliance. I ate quietly. Thinking of Evan. He'd grown distant. Our communication severed. Good girls don't make scenes, I simply mirrored his mannerisms. Studying my reflection whenever I missed him. 6 months passed. Mother occasionally remembered my pregnancy. Hounding Ethan through 360 rounds of public confrontations at his workplace. He paid hefty compensation. Forfeiting his promotion. I smiled at my swelling belly. Had this truly been Ethan's child, I'd have terminated it, the final mountain to move. Ordinary people harbor extraordinary grudges. I'd never carried Ethan's seed, contraceptive stopped my cycles during our relationship. Discarded when I left. This was Evan's. On the 6-month mark, I visited Ethan. Haggard and unshaven. He flinched at my serene smile. Soon they'd all recoil from him. Matt had AIDS. You know? His throat clicked. How? He was my brother. Sweat beaded on his temples. When? His ex-girlfriend introduced him to drugs. Died of AIDS herself. I arched an eyebrow. 6-month window passed. Blood tests show results now. Should get checked. He stood petrified. Every muscle locked. The demolition crew had finally arrived. With a bright smile. I waved goodbye. Turned. And walked away. That girl who died young was truly special. To me. She was the chosen one. God knows how long I'd waited to find someone like her. The final obstacle had crumbled at last. In high spirits, I turned back to remind him, when you visit Lily, make sure she gets checked too. Persistence conquers all mountains, I'd proven that. At dinner with my mother, I casually asked, do you still think Lily, Matt, and Ethan are so exceptional now? She shook her head cheerfully, ordinary is blessed. Standing out invites disaster. Passing me vegetables. She added, your father got some girl pregnant. When that woman found out, she had the baby aborted. The girl tried extorting him, then accused him of rape when he refused. His workplace fired him. I clapped mockingly, serves him right. After midnight, I slipped into Evan's home using the keypad code I'd memorized. Moonlight revealed Evan sleeping with some girl. I memorized every contour of his face, this memory would sustain me. Pouring whiskey over them, I watched Evan jolt awake in terror. My brightest smile bloomed in darkness. Let him remember this. Even through hatred. The lighter's click echoed. The girl screamed. Evan scrambled up too late. I kept igniting lighters. Tossing them like childhood stars that witnessed my exile after failed exams. Flames consumed Evan's thrashing body. Tears evaporated before they fell. Arrest was inevitable, death sentence commuted to life for pregnancy. My mother's hair whitened overnight. Behind glass. She hissed, just when life improved. You torment me. Did I owe you both in past lives? How that woman must laugh. My last hope died. Motherhood was never meant for me. Examining my hands, Evan's favorite part. Now his executioners, I asked, aren't they pretty? She spat, nothing about you is. You're cursed. Something snapped inside. Locking eyes. I enunciated, Lily's beauty comes from her mother. Ethan's brains from his scholar mom. Matt's favored because your husband lusted after his mother. My ugliness? Yours. My stupidity? Yours. Dad left because you're unlovable. You lie. She lunged up. Face twisted. My laughter filled the visitation room. Bitter and final. I leaned back in my chair with a smile. Lifting my eyes to meet hers. the bullets fired from my lips through the receiver, detonating in her heart. This euphoria would be mine only once in this lifetime. Do you truly hate me? Or is it yourself you despise? That plain, dull version of yourself who couldn't keep a man? Do you envy other people's children? Or rather their mothers? Is this about improving me? Or redeeming your own worthlessness? My knuckles rapped against the glass partition as my mouth stretched into an involuntary grin. I must have looked like I was wearing a clown mask. You're worthless. Therefore I'm worthless. The hatred you feel, it's meant for yourself. I enunciated each word slowly, planting every bullet precisely in the center of her heart. Mother slammed down the receiver, stumbling backward as if confronted by a monster. A choked sob escaped her before she fled, hands covering her face. I watched her retreating figure dispassionately. Soon I'd burn in the hell beneath the earth. My dearest mother would remain to suffer in the hell above ground. I hate you. I love you. With Evan gone, who else could I love? Wait, I still had my child. Rising carefully, I cradled my belly with reverence. Mother's hatred guaranteed her abandonment of this child. And the White family wanted no part of it either. The warden said modern orphanages provided proper upbringing. This child would enter the world bathed in all the love I possessed. A daughter. I prayed. A daughter who'd grow up normally. No mother. No father. No disappointments. My soul would endure eternal purgatory flames. Atoning and praying for her. 2 months later, my child arrived, the single wish life granted me. A daughter. However cruelly fate had toyed with me before. I wept grateful tears. They took her after breastfeeding. During my agony of separation, Mother came. My heart froze at the sight she held a tiny infant. Why do you have my daughter? I screamed, pounding the glass. Who else would take her? Her icy stare declared the power dynamic reversed. Examining the baby, she murmured, prettier than you were. Put her in the orphanage. Please. Terror gripped me, that look in her eyes. I knew it too well. Have you lost your mind? This is my granddaughter. Her frown deepened with resolve. I'll raise her properly this time. Make her exceptional. Dread pooled in my veins. My fragile daughter lay helpless in her arms, gazing upward silently. Please. Mom. The psychological warfare I'd inflicted returned tenfold. Her slow headshake made my legs collapse. Despair like black magma engulfed me. I barely registered her final words. Your father knocked up some girl. Probably another addict. I'll make sure my granddaughter outshines that bastard spawn.